she goes in the enclosure with the wolves. Oh my god, those are hungry little foxy things. Alright. This spot wasn't so great after all, was it?
More traditionally colored red foxes. Scarlet is up there eating away, and red is down there on the bottom. Red foxes are the most widespread meat eaters on the planet, being found at sea level to high elevation, as long as there are rodents, a food source available to them. Red foxes typically live somewhere between 4 to 6 years in the wild, but their lifespan can double or even triple in human care. Take a look up ahead. We have our beautiful Sky Fox Freeway. Take a good look at it. Snap a picture because it's 60 feet long and 13 feet high. That is the longest wooden covered bridge in the state of Colorado. I know it's why you're all here today. We're very proud of it. It does belong to our foxes. You can see there's a barrier in the middle which allows both fox enclosures. I want to ask, has anybody here heard of a fur farm today? Show of hands. Okay, here are a couple people. Don't be too surprised. They do try to keep them out of the public eye. There are actually over 250 fur farms in the United States today with very few to no regulations on them. And they're for exactly what you would think of: hats, coats, gloves, and scarves. They will take fox kits just like Whisper and Willow at only about 6 weeks old once they've weaned them for their mother. Place 3 to 5 in a cage so small they can hardly turn around, and they do not have a very long life. They only live about 7 months when that first fur coat grows in, and then they are harvested through means such as electrocution, simply neck breaking, lethal injection, and homemade gas chambers. And because there are so few regulations on these places, sadly, they do not always have to ensure the animal has fully passed away before the skinning process. Meaning that, of course, animals are skinned alive for things like hats, coats, gloves, and scarves, fashion statements. For some reference on this, a fox fur coat that goes down to the ankle takes about 50 to 70 foxes to make, so it's no small feat to get just, a fashion piece. Of course, this is all very hard to hear, and I know it's not what you guys came for today, but if you don't know what's going on, then there's nothing you can do or say to help out. So what are some things you can do? The biggest and best one is to not buy fur, not support that industry. If there's no demand, there'll be no supply. It's as simple as that. You can even take it a step further, go into a local shop that is selling real fur, say, hey, me and my friends will not shop here until you end the sale of real fur in your store. This can be a little scary to do as an individual, but it absolutely works. It has worked for some big name brands such as Gucci, Prada, Nordstrom's, and H&M as they stop the sale of real fur nationwide due to this kind of public pressure. So if we use our voices to speak out for the voiceless, we really can help out and make a difference. And we do have one more fox enclosure across the way, right over there. You guys actually passed it on your way in today. That belongs to our beautiful Swift Fox Nebula. Swift foxes get their names because they're very fast little guys. They can run up to 35 miles per hour at a time, and they only weigh about 5 to 7 pounds, as they're the second smallest canine in the world after the fennec fox. Definitely take a peek on your way out, but don't be offended if you don't see her. They are largely nocturnal. They're actually the only species at our center that are part of a breeding program called SSP, or Species Survival Program. So we do hope to get a litter of Swift Fox kits once we find her a new partner at the start of next year. Alrighty, any questions before I head out today and we get started with the rest of your tour? Alrighty, I'm gonna head out, give these guys the rest of their dinner, and you guys can stay right where you're at. Our tag will come around and give you guys some rolls for the tour. Thank you guys.
And Denali, you need to go over there. And this means that is, my goodness. We're giving Rain a little extra food right now. She needs to bulk up. So, go over there. So Rain over here is with Denali. They actually have a really cute story because when she was a year old, you'll see that picture was taken of her. She was completely black, and that is because she is known as a black-faced wolf. This occurs in about 30 to 50% of the gray wolf population where they are born with that black coat. It is very pretty, but as they age, they'll slowly find. She stuck her face through the bars, and the 3 puppies started swarming around her, looking at her face, and she did something very, very adorable, and she threw up. Now, as a mom or as a wolf trying to care for their young, regurgitation is the only way those puppies can eat meat until the first 2 to 3 months of their life. So she immediately had the maternal response to care for them, to want to be their mother. So we allowed them to, and she did so good at it. until she turned 2, and she sexually developed and determined that it was the worst decision she's ever made and that they need to get out. So she chose Denali as her own companion. That's the only time that has actually ever happened here at our center. Normally we have them in a matchmaking enclosure where they have time to get to know each other. Thankfully though, for her, she got to make that decision on her own, and that is the love story of these two. They love each other a whole lot. I'm glad mating season is over. I will just leave it that they love each other a whole lot. That's all. Now, Denali, laughing. Go over there. Very, very, very active. So Rain right now, she's 5. Denali is 4. They've been together their entire lives essentially, and they're inseparable. Now Denali, this Alaskan wolf over here, is a great example of just a gray wolf in general. They tend to be about 5.5 to 6 feet from their nose tip to their tail, 26 inches to 32 inches from their paws on the ground to their shoulders, and weigh anywhere from 60 to 125 pounds. So if you've watched Twilight, Game of Thrones, sorry to say, media likes to show wolves being way bigger than they actually are. You cannot ride a wolf in a battle. Some more depressing news for today. I'm sorry, guys. But the paintings displayed, and if you do pick one, make sure you pick up your certificate of authenticity that comes with that. Very important. And just know that if Jesus, good catch almost. Just know that all those proceeds do go towards the coexistence fund that we have here in Colorado, which is supplying ranchers and farmers, farmhands with non-lethal predator tools like fox lights, fladgery, even hot wiring to them if they do not have the means to afford it themselves. So she's doing a really important job providing that for us. Now Walker, on the other hand, he's a little different. He is an owner surrenders. Anybody here from Texas? Well, you have a cousin over here. This is Walker. He came as an owner surrender. We typically don't take them in. However, Zara, when she lost her brother Jaikara of a condition where he slipped on some ice, lost the use of his back legs, we had to help him cross over. That same week, we had a phone call asking if there's any way that we could take in a wolf. And of course, we had the space. We needed that companionship for Zara. We said yes. We asked if he was socialized. That means, has he been around other wolves? Has he been around other people? She said yes, and then he got here, and that was a big no. So he does not know how to be a wolf. He does not know how to do things like howling, how to play, the dynamics that wolves would have if they were raised with an alpha male, female mom and dad. So he's still learning the ropes. Thankfully, though, Zara is showing him everything that he needs to. Good job. He'd be good at football. I'm so positive with that. But of course, he came here and is learning exactly what he needs to do in order to be a wolf, and we're so proud of him. He's getting closer and closer every day to letting us take that collar off of his neck. However, he does not have that relationship yet, so once he does feel comfortable, we will. We don't make our wolves wear collars ever. We have full autonomy for our wolves, so we don't make them do anything they don't want to, but until the time he feels comfortable for us to remove it, we are going to allow him to live his life in the comfort that he chooses. So, when puppies are born, you know what? I'll talk about puppies when we go see our puppies. So,
I can use my camera over here.
But for him, he is what is known as leucistic, where he has just a lack of pigmentation that showed since he was a puppy. You can see it in his pink nose and his 2 different colored yellow eyes. It's just a diluted form of albinism. Now, for Arctic wolves, they tend to be found in places in the northern reaches of the world. So think Antarctica, northern Canada, Russia, sometimes even Asia. They'll spend 5 months out of the year in complete and total darkness, and they have to contend with other predators. Wolf packs, polar bears, of course, birds of prey, and humans moving in, taking their land for oil and gas exploitation. And the fact that the things they hunt, caribou, musk oxen, they're well over 1,000 pounds on average, much larger than these wolves, and they still have protections in place, like those hooves and horns. So it's very difficult for them to be able to take them down and get food in their bellies. That is all for Issa. We'll see his brother Raksha in just a little bit. But Arinda over here, this very excited girl, she is our largest female, a grizzled gray wolf, and she is turning 9 this year. But when she was younger, she was very special because she would go down to Colorado Springs and meet groups of people, sometimes up to 100 at a time, and show people that big bad wolf doesn't actually exist. And she did a really good job. Sometimes even meeting groups of people at the Antlers Hotel, and sometimes even 150 at a time. So she was really good at it. Really proud of her. Over there. And she retired, however, at the age of 2 when she developed neophobia. She sexually developed, decided that all those things that she once did, they were scary. Neophobia is the fear of new things. So one day she woke up, didn't want to get on leash and harness, didn't want to go to her wolf bus. She didn't want to go out of her enclosure because it didn't feel safe to her, and that is totally normal for wolves. It is a protective measure that they've developed over the years to protect themselves from things that are unusual, and namely humans who tend to kill them. So she decided, and she's multitasking, she decided that one day she didn't want to do it anymore, and of course we allowed her to retire at the age of 2, which is essentially 18 years in human year, so I wish we could all say the same. But that does not mean she still does not like to see people. She does. We just have to do it on her own terms, which means going into her enclosure and not the other way around. She doesn't want to come out. She wants us to come to her. So she is known as being one of our most kissy wolves, and a kiss from a wolf is a form of greeting. It is a form of communication. If you were to go up to someone, try to shake their hand, and then slap their hand away or just push it away from you, they'd probably be offended. And the same thing goes for them. If you turn down that kiss, they're going to get very upset. In her case, she may go up to the top of the hill and not even come down and pout the entire time.
Oh.
She's very special, but that kiss is not stinky. I think some people had an interaction with her earlier, so if you did see her and you got kisses from Miranda, they weren't stinky, were they? No, it's because of this raw meat diet consisting of chicken, beef, pork, elk, and deer. The bones tear off the tartar and plaque from their teeth. It's not cooked, of course, I should mention that. But of course, we also get donated hides from local protein hunters, from elk and deer that will hang in the trees. They'll chew on that like natural dental floss. So even by the time they reach kind of senior years in human care, which is around 10 to 17 years is their life expectancy here, they still have all their teeth, still pearly white, no stinky dog breath associated. So definitely accept those kisses if you were given the opportunity. But that is all can be heard anywhere from 10 miles in flat and open tundra. But in an area like this, where we have mountains and trees, that's more like 6 miles. That's not the only sound they make, however. They also are capable of barking, but it is called buffing. It is like huffing under the breath. It is not a bark like a typical domestic dog would make, and normally it's reserved for times of great distress for them. And the best example I can give is when our vet is pulling up. They know the sound of her car. So when that BMW is coming up the driveway, they all start alerting each other, letting each other know that something is about to happen. We don't know what it is, but just in case.
Funny.
Okay. And yes, so they'll alarm each other. It's just kind of funny to see them turn into little babies. Now, Raksha over here is another Arctic wolf. He is special because, for one, he was not leucistic, but he gives all the adaptations that the typical Arctic wolf would have that you can see on him. The shorter ears, shorter, less exposed nose pad. He has fully webbed paws with extra fur in between. This allows him to walk on top of snow because of that fur. That prevents him from seeking through. And in a wolf pack, when the alpha male and female, the mom and dad, are walking in snow, their pups are actually going to follow the steps that they left behind because it's much easier to walk on top of that snow rather than trudging through on their own path to get exhausted in the process. Now, they also have hollow and translucent guard hairs. All wolves have 2 layers of fur, an outer layer. How big he is. What did you see? So you can look at him and you can see he has that large head, that deep narrow chest with extra lung capacity. The head has a 30% larger brain than the average dog, and because of that, they have some incredible jaw muscles attached to it. This and the fact that they're able to run really fast at long distances makes them marathon hunters. This is how they hunt. They're going to sprint at 35 miles in short bursts, but they can also lope at speeds of anywhere from 5 miles per hour for 30 to 60 miles. And this is also that they can chase off herds, try to get those sick, weak members, potentially ones that have chronic wasting disease, which they can detect early on, take them out of the landscape, and make those herds healthier in the process. And of course, they're going to do that thinking that, for one, they're going to have an easy time, and you would think they would too. As apex predators, you'd probably consider wolves being probably the best hunters out there. The reality is they're really bad at hunting. They only succeed about 15% of the time on any given hunt. 85% of the time they end in failure. 30% of those hunts end in them getting hurt in some form or fashion, whether it's the antlers that those elk and deer have, the hooves that they have, meaning they have head trauma, jaws to get broken, and if that does occur, that is pretty much a life sentence for a wolf in the wild. That means in the wild, their life expectancy can be anywhere from 2 to 7 years at most. And in some cases, some rare cases like in Yellowstone National Park, we've had to know that it is their responsibility to bring that food back to those dens and provide for those puppies so they can grow up nice and strong. Now, that is all for them, but just know one full-grown wolf in 1 year may take down 18 elk or deer. Not going to take out all the elk and deer in our state. Especially in Colorado, if you're from here, you should know that we have the largest ungulate population in the U.S. We have 850,000 in our state. That's about 100. When our owner, Darlene, rescued Chinook, if you know anything about our story, then you know that Chinook was on an operating table while Darlene came by her, saw that she was about to be put down, realized that she could not allow it to happen, rescued her, and started her own wolf dog sanctuary back in 1993. When she did that, she, on the first week of opening, had 17 surrenders at her doorstep. That is a lot of work. That's a lot of money for her. They had the regulated 8-foot fencing, they had hot wire, they had everything they needed until their neighbors moved in and they homesteaded. And you know what that meant? Chickens. So when they brought those chickens in, Luna had the best time of her life. She ate all of their chickens, and when they was getting cancer, she brought during the early mornings, late evenings. They are crepuscular as well, and be active during those times that they are. Eventually, they're going to get the idea that you are crazy. You can also open and close umbrellas. You can shoot BB guns. You can play loud music.
Well, Diego got
you can
mad and now they're
podcast.
screaming.
Coyotes will get so afraid they'll start scent marking your property with the equivalent of leaving a 1-star before you at a restaurant.
That's awesome.
If you were to go to a restaurant and see it only had 1-star reviews, you're likely not going to
God, this is creepy as hell.
moving and find somewhere else more suitable to your taste. Same thing goes for these coyotes. They learn that you are the same, which you realize is not worth their effort and move right on. If you're okay with having a coyote on your property, just know they can do really important things such as removing rodents from the landscape. They can eat 2,000 in a year, one coyote by themselves, including rodents that can give us diseases like zoonotic diseases, including the hantavirus.
Oh my god, I can't believe it. Look, all the even the dogs are howling. They're all doing it.
They don't have Facebook, they don't have Instagram. They're very limited into their forms of connection with each other, so howling is their means of doing so.
God, that was unbelievable.
So,
Oh, there's the
coyotes can eat 2,000 dollars a year, including rodents that have hantavirus, Lyme disease, bubonic plague. They can eat all of this, consume it, not catch it themselves, and not pass it on to other members of the ecosystem. It goes right out their system and in the sun. Nope, that is normal. Depredation is loss of livestock. So if a wolf goes and kills cattle, pig, cow, goat, etc., that is considered a depredation, and there are things in place to help with that to compensate. So Parks and Wildlife tend to compensate losses due to wolves if you use the outlets and provide or give them a call. Now, here in Colorado, we do have one of the best compensation programs in the world, to the point that we will even compensate pregnancies that did not happen because there were wolves stressing out your animals during the time of the birth that they would be giving. So if that does happen, you can get fully compensated for an animal that was never born. It is that good. So there are means and there are ways to help coexist with wolves, and the best thing to do is donate. You can donate your money. You can go buy the Pink Star. All 100% of those proceeds go towards coexistence here in Colorado. Or if you're from Colorado, you can get the Born to Be Wild license plate that has a wolf howling on the back. That has already raised $1.7 million in 2 years. That is a lot of money. And of course, we wanted to look into the livestock losses of the states that hate wolves the most. So Idaho, Montana, Wyoming. And please, as long and as high pitched as you can. A 30% large rating means they counted every single person here. So if you don't participate, they are going to know and they're not going to howl. So you all have to do it. You're not embarrassed. You're not doing it right. Are we ready to howl? Yeah? Are we asleep? Are we ready to howl?
Yeah.
Okay. On the count of 3, we're going to do the howl. So we're going to get ready. We'll do 1 howl, then quiet down and see if they respond. All right. 1, 2, 3. We're going to try it one more time, but we almost woke them up. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, well, you woke them up a little bit. Give yourselves a round of applause. It's not every day you can speak to wolves. So thank you guys so much.
That's awesome. God, that is incredible. Ooh.
Almost done. Yeah, she's slipped on a pebble.
It's kind of slippery here.
That's awesome. Oh my god, I love all of them. Oh my gosh. Alright.
Like crazy muscle building.
The black one?
No, like I mean both of them are, but like the bigger one.
The horse.
Yeah.
This is a pony.
Oh wow.
It had loose hair.